Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Millennium TV News. This is FORID with today's top stories. Britain's opposition to back European Union referendum bill. Obama, Iran agreement will help Israel. Defense Secretary, Iraqi forces showed no will to fight in Ramadi. And John F. Nash, Jr., mathematician whose life story inspired a beautiful mind, dies at 86. Now the details. Britain's centre-left opposition Labour Party will support Prime Minister David Cameron's proposal for a referendum on European Union membership, but will make the case to stay. Party leaders told the Sunday Times the British people want to have a say on the UK's membership of the European Union. The party's acting leader Harriet Herman and Foreign Affairs spokesman Hilary Benn were quoted by the paper as saying, Labour will therefore now support the EU referendum bill, they said, adding that they wanted reform in Europe on benefits and the way the EU works. The Labour Party doesn't want to see the UK stumble inadvertently towards EU exit. We will make the case for our continued membership, they said. Cameron has called for a referendum to be held by 2017, and the plan is due to be invalid on Wednesday when Queen Elizabeth II delivers a speech in Parliament outlining the new government's Lily-Vestige programme. The Prime Minister has said he will support continued membership as long as he can negotiate a series of reforms, including limiting access to Britain's welfare system for migrants from other EU countries. The British leader is strutting out on a new 5-year term after a general election earlier this month that headed his centre-right Conservative Party a majority. During the election campaign, Labour had opposed the holding of a referendum on EU membership, warning of the economic unsanitary that it could generate. President Obama defended both his proposed nuclear agreement with Iran and his support for Israel during remarks Friday to a largely Jewish audience. This deal will have my name on it, so nobody has a bigger personal stake in making sure that it delivers on his promise. Obama told members of the other Israeli congregations, while members of the current Israeli government criticized the proposed agreement. Obama said it would bolster Israel's security by blocking an Iran path to a nuclear weapon. U.S. support of Israel is inevitable, and to compromise its security would be a moral failing. A yarmulke wearing Obama told the Jewish congregation in a speech also devoted to the ongoing threats on anti-Semitism, saying that I will not accept a bad deal. Obama told the crowd the proposal would address the threat of a possible Iranian bomb for the long term. Even if the United States, its allies, and Iran strike a final deal, negotiators are racing against a June 30 deadline. Obama said he would continue to press the Iranians to end their support of terrorism, aggression throughout the region, and ugly threats against Israel. Obama said, our strategic partnership with Israel will remain no matter what happens in the days and years ahead, Obama said. Under the proposal, the United States and allies would reduce economic sanctions on Iran if it forks the means to make nuclear weapons. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli officials have questioned whether Iran would follow through on their part of the bargain and said the deal could wind up easing their path toward nuclear weapons. That includes the U.S. commitment to defend Israel, the president said. Despite occasional disagreement over issues like Iran. The U.S. Senate blocked a measure to extend a spy agency's bulk collection of Americans' telephone records early on Saturday, leaving the fate of the program uncertain days before its June 1 expiration. By a vote of 54 to 45, the Senate failed to reach the 60-vote threshold needed to advance a bill that would have extended for 2 months provisions of the USA Patriot Act that allow the collection of vast amounts of telephone metadata. The data collection program, in which the National Security Agency sweeps up vast amounts of Americans' telephone records and business information, was exposed 2 years ago by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden, who is now a fugitive in Russia. The vote against the extension came after the Senate narrowly blocked the USA Freedom Act, a bill that would end the bulk telephone data collection and replace it with a more targeted program. That vote was 57 to 42, just short of the 60 needed. President Barack Obama's administration had pushed hard for the Freedom Act. The House of Representatives backed it by an overwhelming margin, with strong support from Republicans and Democrats. On May 13, the Islamic State was able to seize Ramadi because the Iraqi military showed no will to fight. Defense Secretary Ash Carter said in an interview that aired Sunday. He offered sharp criticism of the Iraqi security forces and defended the Obama administration's use of air strikes against the Islamic State during the interview of CNN's State of the Union. Carter said Iraqi forces automobiled ISIS fighters in the provincial capital but retreated. Carter's comments are the toughest public critique of the Iraqis from a high-ranking U.S. official since the Islamic State's takeover of Ramadi last Sunday. Over the weekend, senior defense officials told USA Today that Iraqi security fled Ramadi without a fight despite holding as much as a 10-1 advantage over their opponents. U.S. officials are blaming the Iraqi military amid new questions about the Obama administration's approach in Iraq, which includes air strikes against the Islamic State and training the Iraqi military. The administration has not committed any U.S. ground troops of the fight, and in Sunday's interview, Carter did not indicate any change in a strategy. He said the Pentagon has not recommended putting U.S. military spotters on the ground to help guide American air strikes against ISIS targets. Most European Union citizens who are resident in Britain will not be able to vote in a referendum on his membership of the bloc, the government said on Monday. Legislation for holding the referendum is to be introduced in Parliament on Thursday, as Prime Minister David Cameron kicks off a diplomatic push for reforms in the 28-member bloc. In a statement, his office said that the referendum would be based on the general election franchise, meaning that citizens of most EU countries who are resident in Britain would not be able to vote. As is normal in British general elections, British people aged over 18 and United Kingdom residents who are from Ireland or the Commonwealth, the 53-member organization mostly made up of countries formerly part of the British Empire, will be able to vote. This includes residents from the EU nations Malta and Cyprus. This is a big decision for our country, one that is about the future of the United Kingdom, a source in Cameron's office said. That's why we think it's important that it is British, Irish and Commonwealth citizens that are the ones who get to decide. EU citizens living in Scotland were able to vote in its independence referendum in 2014 and can vote in British local government elections. Cameron has vowed to secure reforms on issues like immigration, welfare, eligibility and power to refuse further integration, before asking the electorate whether or not Britain should remain a member, possibly as soon as 2016. The conservative leader has pushed ahead quickly to hold a referendum after winning a second term in office this month. On Thursday and Friday, Cameron will visit a series of European capitals, meeting the leaders of Denmark, the Netherlands, France, Poland, and Germany to seek support for the EU reforms. The Prime Minister aims to speak to all 27 other leaders of members states of the EU before a European Council summit at the end of next month. On Sunday, the central-left Labour Party said it would change its policy to support the holding of a referendum on EU membership, while continuing the campaigning of Britain to remain in the bloc. Viewers, were planes from Libya's official government attacked and well tanker docked outside the city of HOSSAIN on Sunday, wounding 3 people and setting the ship on fire, officials said. It was the third confirmed strike by the internationally recognized government on oil tankers, part of a conflict between competing administrations and parliaments allied to armed factions fighting for control of the country 4 years after the ousting of Muammar Gaddafi. The recognized Premier Abdullah al-Thani has been working out of the east since losing the capital Tripoli in August last year to a rival faction. Both sides have been attacking each other with fearless and thanks to loose alliances with former anti-Gaddafi rebels have also been fighting on several fronts on land. Mohammed El-Harari, a spokesman for Tripoli-based state well-formed NOC, said the Libyan tanker Anwar Arafikia had been carrying fuel for Sir's power plant. Another oil industry official said the size of the cargo was 25,000 tons. A Reuters reporter could see the tanker docked near Sir's power plant. 2 parts of the tanker were still burning. A port worker said there had been 2 attacks. First, a plane had fired rockets at the tanker's cockpit and crew's cabins, he said. Then the plane attacked again with guns. They attacked after we had discharged the first tank and were redying the second, he said. Sir's power plant on the western outskirts is controlled by forces loyal to Tripoli. The rest of the city has fallen into the hands of Islamic State, which has exploited a security vacuum. The Eastern government had already attacked in January a Greek-operated tanker docking at Derna, killing 2 seamen and accusing the shipper of sending weapons. NOC had said the tanker was only carrying heavy fuel oil for a power plant. John F. Nash, Jr., a mathematician who shared a Nobel Prize in 1994 for work that greatly extended the reach and power of modern economic theory and whose decades-long descent into severe mental illness and eventual recovery were the subject of a book and a 2001 film, both titled A Beautiful Mind, was killed, along with his wife, in a car crash on Saturday in New Jersey. He was 86. Nash and his wife, Alicia, 82, were in a taxi on the New Jersey Turnpike when the driver lost control while trying to pass another car and hit guardrail and another vehicle, said SGT Gregory Williams of the New Jersey State Police. The couple were ejected from the cab and pronounced dead at the scene. The taxi driver and the driver of the other car were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. No criminal charges have been filed. Nash was widely regarded as one of the great mathematicians of the 20th century, known for the originality of his thinking and for his fearlessness in wrestling down problems so difficult few others dared tackle them. A one-sentence letter written in support of his application to Princeton's doctoral program in math said simply, "This man is a genius." Nash's theory of no cooperative games, published in 1950 and known as Nash equilibrium, provided a conceptual, simple but powerful mathematical tool for analyzing a wide range of competitive situations, from cooperative revolvers to legislative decision-making. This approach is now pervasive in economics and throughout the social science and is applied routinely in other fields like evolutionary biology. Harold W. Cohn, an emeritus professor of mathematics at Princeton and a long-term friend and colleague of Nash who died in 2014, said, "I think honestly that there have been really not that many great ideas in the 20th century in economics, and maybe among the top 10, his equilibrium would be among them." Nash continued to work, traveling and speaking at conferences and attempting, among other things, to formulate a new theory of comparative games. Friends described him as charming and diffident, a bit socially awkward, a little quiet, with scant trace of the arrogance of his youth. The detective branch of Dhaka Metropolitan Police arrested two alleged members of militant outfit Islamic State at Uttura in the capital on Sunday. The arrested are identified as Aminul Islam Beg and Saqib bin Kamal. Aminul is the regional coordinator of banned militant outfit Jamaat ul Mujahideen Bangladesh and a representative of IS in the country, while Saqib is a member of both. Monur Islam, Joint Commissioner of DB, revealed this at a press briefing at the DMP Media Center in the city on Monday. Both the arrested are tech savvy and belong to affluent family, Monur told newsmen. Aminul was gathering money, firearms and weapons to attack significant personalities and places of the country, he added. Mohammad Shahjahan Mia, Additional Deputy Commissioner of DB North, said Aminul was serving a multinational company as one of the top engineers. You are up to date with our top stories so far here on Millennium TV, and don't forget to log in www.millenniumtv.net. Thank you and stay with Millennium TV. Allah Hafiz.